Yes, I agree with same-sex marriage.
I do support same-sex marriage.
Yeah, I support same-sex marriage. I feel that everybody has the right to be entitled to be married to who they choose to be, not just the standard definition of a man and a woman.
Yes, I support same-sex marriage.
Absolutely. I absolutely do, and I've recently decided not to get married until same-sex marriage is legal in all 50 states.
I do support same-sex marriage, just because I don't think we should be discriminating against genders. Like, marriage is between one person and another person. I know, like, some people argue that the Bible says it's between a man and a woman, but love is love, man.
I do agree with same-sex marriage. I think given where the country's at right now, with the increase of legislation that adds to civil rights and the opening up of civil rights to a lot of different people, in addition to education about the LGBTQ community, I think same-sex marriage is something that is pretty necessary across the nation, and is something that has been established across the world. So I definitely agree with same-sex marriage.
I do support same-sex marriage. I believe it is a right for everyone to marry whoever they want.
I do support same-sex marriage.
No, I had no idea who he was until you told me, and now that I know he's a Republican, I can't wait for the next question.
I do not know who Ben Carson is. I am unaware of his views and the fact that he's running for president.
Yeah, I heard of Ben Carson in 2014 when he first came out that he was thinking about running for president.
So I just heard of him, like, when you asked me the question. So no, I did not know of him before, but that's interesting.
I do unfortunately know who Ben Carson is. I do know that he's running for president. I've only heard of him based on oppressive views that he has.
No, I do not know who Ben Carson is.
Yes, I have heard of Ben Carson. It's funny because I come from a pretty Republican conservative family, and so they're always watching Fox News, and Ben Carson's a pretty regular contributor to that. So I've heard of him and his run for presidency in 2016.
So I more recently found out who Ben Carson is. Something told me that I would have to know who Ben Carson is for today, just today. He's likely a Republican candidate who's highly conservative, thinking about running for president.
I do know who Ben Carson is, and I'm aware that he's trying to run for president.
No, I don't know any of his views, but he's a Republican, so.
I do not know Ben Carson's views.
I don't know that much about his views, but I do know he's on the extreme side.
I have an inkling that he's against same-sex marriage, but other than that, I don't know. I'm assuming because he's a Republican candidate for the presidential election, he's probably pretty conservative. So I'm assuming that he's, pro-life, against same-sex marriage, against immigration, things like that.
Views. I know that he uses religion as a cover for his bigotry, which I don't appreciate because I don't know what God he believes in, but it's not the God that I believe in.
I honestly don't know much specifically about his views. I do know that he is very economically conservative, and what is a little bit controversial about him is that he is very socially conservative, especially in regards to the LGBTQ community and other sort of sexual issues. So I would imagine he's very much against gay marriage and other LGBTQ rights.
I don't know much about his views or his platform for president. I know that he is very conservative and that he does not support same-sex marriage. I know he made a comment on an article recently that that people that go to prison come out gay. I thought that was very insensitive. And that's all I really know about Ben Carson.
I've heard Carson's views and they're absolutely despicable.
Okay, I cannot believe someone would ever say that. That is one of the worst things I could ever imagine someone saying. That is, like, so ridiculous. Okay.
I feel he is insane. I feel he is being completely irrational. And I do not support anything that he believes.
Interesting comparison, but no, I didn't hear that.
A little confused at what he thinks same-sex couples do, and their ages and everything like that. I think it's pretty ignorant to say someone's love life is bestiality and to compare it to those things when if it is a consensual relationship, they should be able to do whatever they want to do with one another.
I didn't know when he did it, but I did hear that he did it because he's ridiculous. And I think that comparison is disgusting and kind of immoral.
I was really shocked when I heard that. I think it really gives a negative impression on whoever Ben Carson is, because I've never heard of him before that. And just by hearing those comments, it really makes me think negatively of him. I think it's an awful and disgusting comparison, comparing homosexuals to people who practice bestiality and pedophiles, because they're like two totally opposite ends of the spectrum, and it's just not cool.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty unfair comparison. Like I said before, I think America is in a totally different political and social environment now where people should at least feel free to practice whatever sexual orientation they feel is fit for their own lives. So to compare those in the LGBTQ community to pedophiles and those who practice bestiality is just a little ridiculous in my mind. I think these people, at this point in America's forthcoming, should be accepted in the community and across the United States.
I don't agree with those comments at all, and I believe that someone that plans on running for president of the United States should not have such extreme views in any means.
Absolutely not.
I would not at all be comfortable with Ben Carson as president.
I don't think I would feel comfortable having him in office, just due to the nature of his views.
No. I don't see how this form of discrimination is any different than another form of it, and I understand that people have religious views about marriage and they hold marriage as a sacred thing between a man and a woman, and I think that is a lovely thing if that is your religion and that's what you believe, but people of many different religions are getting married in the U.S. and having it like that and allowing atheists can get married. They don't believe in the God person, but how they can get married, right? So I think it's so important that if people want to get married, they should just be allowed to get married. And if you want to call it a civil union or whatever, give a civil union the exact same rights and the exact same benefits that a same-sex, that a marriage or traditional marriage between a man and a woman would.
Okay. I absolutely would not feel comfortable with him as my president because I do not want anybody who would marginalize and oppress a whole group of people and think of a whole part of the people that he's supposed to be protecting as less than human.
As of right now, without knowing any other information and views of Ben Carson, I would not feel comfortable as him being president of the United States.
I wouldn't feel too comfortable with Ben Carson being our next president because I think in the environment and the atmosphere that is being bred in the Capitol, it takes someone who can willingly work on both sides across a wide spectrum of issues. And while he was a Democrat before becoming a Republican, as a Republican now, the opinions and the things that he said, it doesn't make it seem as though he's very willing to work across the aisle. And I think that's something essential that needs to be done by the White House, by the leader of our government in Washington, D.C. So I don't think he's very suitable as a candidate.
I absolutely would not feel comfortable with him as my president.